You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
Alright, what up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Brown Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and happy Monday to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed your weekend, and hopefully you guys are staying dry out there if you're in the Southern California, LA area. Like I said, please stay dry, please drive safe out there. I know, once there's just a little bit of precipitation, all of a sudden everybody forgets how to drive, but there is a whole lot more than a little bit coming down right now, and it looks like it's going to be that way for the next couple days. So like I said, everybody, please be safe out there. Drive safely. Bring an umbrella. Bring your rain jacket. All that good stuff. Stay dry out there. But that does mean when there's rain in LA, that means there's snow up in the mountains. So hopefully there's some fresh power we can shred this weekend. But enough looking forward to next weekend. Let's take a look back at what happened this past weekend in the wild world of sports, starting with the NFL. And I don't know if you noticed, but the conference semis were this past weekend, and some pretty good games. You know, like I said, pretty good games, not gonna lie. And for the most part, it went chalk. I mean, it did go chalk. It looked like it wasn't gonna go that way, but the Saints held on and pulled that one out. And like I said, we're gonna get a pretty chalk. I think it is, yeah. The number 1 and the number 2 seeds. Yep. Number 1 and the number 2 seeds playing each other in the AFC NFC Championship game this coming weekend. But like I said, let's look at what happened. Let's see. Starting with the Rams and the Cowboys. The Rams just dominated the line of scrimmage, and they ran all over the Cowgirls on Saturday. Took care of business. What was the final score again? 30-22. Even though it was a one-possession game, it wasn't like that all game. They got a little garbage time touchdown. But yeah, the Rams just freaking shoved it down the Cowgirls' throat in what was a borderline Cowboys home game. You knew that's how it was going to turn out. You knew that there was going to be a lot of Cowboys fans out there. A lot of shaved heads, a lot of TO jerseys. A lot of very baggy jeans that look like, or jean shorts that look like regular pants, maybe some Pro Club shorts here and there, and you already know the Flint 13s were out in full effect on Saturday, but all for naught, because like I said, the Rams took care of business, and big heroes for the game, Todd Gurley, who had 115 yards and a touchdown, but the big, and I mean big, both metaphorically and literally, C.J. Anderson holding it down for the big boys with a big 2 touchdowns on 123 yards rushing. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with his backstory. I don't know if you guys heard, but you know, C.J. Anderson has been on. This is his 4th team this year. He was cut by a couple other teams during the regular season. And like I said, I'm not even sure if you, I'm not sure if you guys were familiar with that. I don't think that they mentioned that on the broadcast enough. But yeah, all jokes aside, huge game for C.J. Anderson and holding it down for all the big boys out there. I said this already, but C.J. Anderson, man, looking like me out there with his panza hanging out of his jersey like that. But like I said, nonetheless, I legit thought that was Mike Tolbert. If you're familiar with Mike Tolbert, I legit thought it was Mike Tolbert out there. But huge game for him there, and hopefully they can continue that this trend going into the next round, because they're going to need it against the Saints. Spoiler alert in case you didn't know. But finishing with this game, Goff was good also. Didn't need to be great, which is really, really good. And hopefully they can, like I said, continue this formula next weekend or this coming weekend. And the defense stepped up. Like I said, they didn't really get a whole lot of sacks. Let me see. Did they even get any? Yeah, no sacks at all, but just a ton of pressure in Dak Prescott's face, and that's just, I mean, obviously it's gonna happen when he's as mobile as he is. Actually, one sack, Dante Fowler, that's right, 1 sack, sorry, but like I said, they were just in his face all day, stuffing the run as well, shutting down Ezekiel Elliott, and like I said, that was a good, huge confidence booster for them, yeah, that's just a tough way to lose. If you're the Cowboys, like I said, but they just got completely dominated, and there's just no shittier feeling for a team, and more specifically for a defense, and especially a defense that, played as well as they played all season. They were, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, because like I shout out to Michael Rappaport, we don't fact check around here. I think they were the number one rated defense in the NFL, and maybe in the whole, I don't know about the whole year, but at least going into the playoffs, they were like the number one defense or the top defense. And like I said, there's just no shittier feeling for a defense than just getting ran all over like that. Like it's just demoralizing. It's borderline embarrassing. It's just so shitty. It's just, you're just stuck in it and you can't get out, and you just nothing you can do, and just getting physically dominated at the line of scrimmage like that is just completely deflating. And like I said, just a tough way for them to lose. But like I said, shout out to the Rams holding it down. But it's going to be a tough matchup for them. Tough matchup for them against the Saints this coming weekend. The Saints, like I said, they held on. It looked like it was going to be a bit of a rough night for the Saints last night. But like I said, they held on and came back in the second half to blue ball Big Dick Nick and the Eagles 20-14. It was a complete, like, the textbook tale of two halves in that game on last night, and it was all Eagles in the first half. Just got out to a 14-0 lead right off the bat, and it just looked like it's like, oh shit, are the Eagles really gonna do this? Like, is this really gonna happen again? They're just gonna ride this momentum. There's a Big Dick Nick, all that shit. It's gonna happen again. But Saints did what they did. They made their adjustments, came back in the second half, and completely shut them out. They fine-tuned their offense, fixed what they needed to do, put up 20, almost lost it there with that huge gamble going for that long field goal. But they came up big, like I said, in the second half, and they made Foles look like a true backup in the second half. Just pressure in his face, a lot of coverage sacks, a lot of good stuff like that. And, like I said, they pulled it out. A lot of dick jokes going on here. They pulled it out, and like I said, it's going to be a tough NFC Championship game this weekend. And again, it was a good ride for the Eagles. They came into the season flying high, crash landed very, very, very early, and it looked like they were going to just have that Super Bowl hangover. But picked up the momentum, had all the momentum going into the playoffs. But like I said, eventually it just all has to come crashing down at one point. Last week it was Cody Parkey, kicker for the Chicago Bears. But this week, the sixth man in America is Alshon Jeffrey. Very, very, just horrible way to end the game. Ball literally went right through his hands into the defender's arms, and that was the way the game was going to end. And a lot of people are saying, well, why isn't Alshon Jeffrey getting lambasted and crucified and all that stuff the way that Cody Parkey was and all this? I was like, listen, because if it wasn't for Alshon Jeffrey, the Eagles wouldn't be in this situation, or for the most part. He not only him, but he played very well, all consistently the best offensive weapon that the Eagles had. They've had a stable of running backs, of mediocre running backs. Couple other guys that had to trade for Golden Tate to try to get something going, to try to get Alshon Jeffrey some help. Two different quarterbacks with Wentz, and then Wentz getting hurt, and now Nick Foles. But it just sucks, yeah, that the guy that they trusted so much, and the guy that really got them into that situation and helped them get to where they were, to have it all fall literally on his hands. Tough way, but listen, happens, man. That happens. And the Saints are moving on. Eagles got to go home. But that's how things were in the NFC. AFC, close games for the most part in the NFC. AFC, not so much. Starting with the Pats and the Chargers. Patriots, man, looked like vintage Patriots against the Chargers. Took care of business, 41-28, and it wasn't even that close. Trust me, it was not that close. Some garbage time touchdowns in the fourth quarter for the Chargers really closed this game, but this game was over pretty quickly. If you look at the box score right here, I'm not good at math, but 14-7 in the first quarter, 21-0 in the second quarter. You can call it a day anytime that happens, no matter who you're playing. But easily by a mile, the best game of the season for the Patriots and for Tom Brady. Clearly they were saving it for the playoffs. There's a lot of, what's wrong with the Patriots, or one half, or here, not, I wouldn't say half, probably about 75 to 80% of the media, it was all year long. It's been, what's wrong with the Pats? It's over. The dynasty's over. Brady, Belichick, it's over. This and that. But then always there's that other 20% or so, or even the other people in the back of their minds. There's always like, well, it's still Brady. It's still Belichick. It's still the two-headed monster, and you can never count them out. And clearly you couldn't. Like I said, they were clearly saving it for the playoffs. Brady was huge. Vintage Brady game. 34 for 44, 343 yards, and a touchdown. Could have been more, but he didn't need to throw it all over the place, because biggest surprise of the game, and probably up there with C.J. Anderson, probably of the entire postseason, was this huge game from Sony Michel. At least with C.J. Anderson, there wasn't any expectations really for anything that he got, so anything he did was icing on the cake. Sony Michel criticized all year for just not being very productive, considering that he was a first-round pick for them this year, but came out, huge game for him. Clearly the best game of his career. 129 yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. I don't even think he had 3 all season long. And, it's a big game. And then, just like I said, just everyone else, just Brady had his way with that Chargers defense, who, had a lot of hype going into it because of the way that they played against the Ravens, and he just cut them up, man. He just cut them up, and Pats are moving on. Chargers, they blew it, man. They freaking blew it. Had a chance for an all-LA Super Bowl, even though the Chargers, just because they play in LA doesn't mean that they're from LA. We get it, but it would have been cool to have it say LA Rams versus LA Chargers. Yeah, I called it. Yeah, I said it. And, it would have been cool, but maybe next year? I don't know. I don't know about next year because, I don't know who said it first, because I've seen it circulated. This joke circulated a couple times, but it's very, very true, and it gave me a nice little belly laugh. But the Chargers really are, man. They really are the Raptors of the NFL. And if you don't get that joke, I guess I'll have to explain it to you. But, look great in the regular season, and look so good, actually, that they get the hopes up of not just their fans, but other teams as well, other fans as well. Get their hopes up, make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, but once it comes down to the nitty-gritty and they gotta push through and move on, they blow it in the playoffs. Chargers just can't get past the big bad wolf in Tom Brady and the Patriots, or whoever else they've had to play. Mainly Tom Brady and the Patriots. Raptors couldn't get past the big bad wolf and LeBron. And like I said, it's a little bit unfair, considering that those guys are, the final bosses. But at the same time, the parallels are just uncanny, and it's a little too on the nose to just ignore. But yeah, Patriots moving on. Chargers, better luck next year. And then last game, Chiefs took care of business versus the Colts. Even though that this was technically, if you look at the score, anytime you see something that says 31-13, you think blowout. But it's the Chiefs did what they did. They did what they did. They were offensively all over the place, dominating. Playing well, did whatever they wanted to do. But man, the Colts just freaking laid an egg. Just came out and just looked like a freaking wet fart, just like nothing. And Andrew Luck looked really bad, like the worst possible time for him to play like that. But they just looked like they just completely were uninspired, or I don't know what was going on, but they just looked really bad. And even though the Colts offense and everything just looked that bad, huge confidence booster for the Chiefs defense. Easily the most criticized unit in all of football. They are historically bad on like first downs and some yards and stuff like that. Just a very really statistically bad defense all year long. And that was the big, red flag question mark going into the playoffs for the Chiefs was, sure, their offense can put up 45, but are they going to give up 46, And like I said, even though the Colts offense looked that bad, great confidence booster. It's got to be a huge confidence booster for the Chiefs defense, especially with the Patriots coming into town and, Tom Brady looked the way he did and it was just able to slice the Chargers defense up, who is a much better defense than the Chiefs defense. So like I said, huge confidence booster for the Chiefs defense. Hopefully they can, use that to ride high into the AFC Championship game this coming weekend. So yeah, championship games are set. Couple of regular season rematches. A Week 6 rematch in the AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Chiefs, and a Week 9 rematch between the Saints and the Rams. Big high-scoring games in these ones. Patriots beat the Chiefs 43-40 in a last-second field goal. Saints beat the Rams 45-35, and both situations in both games, the old guys handing the young guys their first losses of the season, and both of them, Patriots were at home, Saints were at home. Same situation for the Saints and Rams, but the Pats got to go into Arrowhead this weekend, and that's not an easy thing to do. It's probably going to be really cold. Anytime it's cold, it's always a red flag, especially when the Chiefs rely on their home field advantage so much, and Chiefs fans always get it going at Arrowhead, one of the loudest stadiums in all of football. But the weather does have an effect on that. It's gonna be, if it's cold and they're bundled up, they might not be as loud. But knowing those Chiefs fans, I wouldn't count them out. Like I said, it's gonna be a very tough matchup there. But then again, the Rams, man, gotta go back into the dome. Not gonna have any weather affecting anything like that. But on the flip side, that's where Drew Brees and the Saints do the most damage, man. They just love playing at home. It would have been nice if they could get the Saints to have to come to the Coliseum. Not saying that it's very cold or anything over here and it's supposed to be nice, but, you put Drew Brees outdoors, that's definitely an advantage you'd like to have. But, yeah, it's going to be a good week of football. Going to be a really good weekend of football. A lot of offense, and it's really going to come down to whose defense steps up. It's really it. Whose defense steps up the biggest. And, we'll have to wait and see. And just looking ahead also, no matter who makes it, no matter which teams make it, we're going to have some nice headlines going into the Super Bowl. Got me here. If it's Chiefs and Rams, it's that huge, week 12, 13 matchup. Huge rematch, from that game where they just revolutionized football on Monday night. That's probably the Super Bowl matchup everybody wants to see. Like I said, a lot of people will be cheering for that. Then if it's Patriots Saints, it's going to be the whole headlines, last hurrah for two old dogs in Brady and Breeze. So what they see there. Then it's again on the offensive mind of Peyton versus the defensive mind of Belichick. So like I said, there's that. Then if it's Patriots and the Rams. If it's Patriots and Rams, that's crazy because it'd just be everything coming full circle since the Patriots dynasty started essentially by them beating the Rams in Super Bowl 36 all those years ago, back in 2002 or whatever it was. So there's that headline everyone's gonna be talking about. It's then it's the old defensive genius in Belichick versus this new young offensive genius in Sean McVay. Bill Belichick revolutionized, air quotes, revolutionized the game and the way people approach the game. when he was coming up. Now he's going against the guy who's changing football in the way he's coming up in Sean McVay. So there's that. And then also, little thing here, just throwing that in there, little Boston-LA rematch from the World Series. So, putting the little, the emoji where the smoke's blown out of the nose emoji, insert there. A little upset about that. So kind of hoping that happens too. And then even the Saints-Chiefs would be good. 2 gunslingers. The old gunslinger in Breeze versus the new gunslinger in Mahomes, so that'd be good too. And then just a full-on shootout. It's just to be a sprint, and who can last the longest in that one. So that'd be always fun. So like I said, no matter what we get from this weekend, it's gonna be a good Super Bowl matchup. And like I said, we're in store for a good weekend of football. And speaking of football, I forgot to mention it in the update last week, but I just had to let you guys know that your boy finally won his first fantasy football championship after 13 years. 13 years of playing fantasy football. I finally won one. It felt so damn good. Oh, it felt so good. So just had to let you guys know about that in case you guys were wondering, because I know you guys were all worrying so much about how my fantasy teams were doing. But with the ecstasy comes the agony, because it is not a good season for your boy as far as fantasy basketball goes. Sitting in last place. The Shaqtin' a Foo All-Stars are sitting in last place. And it's not been fun, it's just that horrible, deadly combo of guys just not performing the way you'd want them to, and your top guys having slumps at the wrong times, plus random injuries here and there, and so it's tough, because whenever that happens, because you want to make moves and you want to get better, but obviously with the injured guys you can't trade them, but then when the guys are slumping, you have these guys who are playing so poorly that they're untradeable, and then you don't want to trade. Obviously, you want to trade over your best guys when they're going through a slump, because once they're eventually going to get out of it. It's just a matter of when, and you don't want to let those guys go. So pretty tough right now for me. But like I said, like I always say, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. There's still a lot of season left, and I'm not trying to play for first at this point, because I'm way out of it. I'm way out of first place. I think let me see. I'm like fucking like 20 games out of first place, something freaking ridiculous. Where is it? I am 28 and a half games back out of first place. So that's definitely not in the cards. But just as long as I get to the playoffs, there's always a chance. So just all I gotta do is get to the playoffs, and that's all I need to do. So there's still a lot of season left. Not tripping yet, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see. So moving on from the fake sports back to the real sports, finish things off with the NBA. And I mentioned it last week. This is a really fun. Okay, it's fun, but I think interesting is more appropriate for this season. Like I said, just because I know the Warriors are getting Boogie back very soon, but this really does feel like the season where it's the most up for grabs that it's been in a while. At least it feels that way. At least that's how it feels so far. So it's interesting to see, like, okay, let's see. And there's a lot more, not random teams playing a lot better, but like I said, it gives you a lot more to think about. And so I think I'm going to talk about that more later in the week. Definitely soon, that's for sure. But I'll just talk about my thoughts on how the season's gone so far and stuff like that. Catch you guys up on that. And but for now, I'll just keep it to the Lakers and the Clippers. Just keeping it with the home teams. And now the question is, do we go with the good news first or the bad news first? And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Fuck it, let's just go with the bad news. Lakers. Lost to the Cavs last night. 101-95, ending the Cavaliers' 12-game losing streak at home also. And this is coming off the heels of a really bad loss to the Jazz, 113-95. And that's the final score, but it wasn't even that close at all. And, I tweeted this out, so I don't want to hate to rehash like Twitter stuff, but I tweeted this out, and this has to be the low point of the season, right? Like, this has to be the low point of the season for the Lakers. Like, it can only go up from here, right? Because, you got to look at everything going on. Yeah, this loss really sucks. They lost to the Cavs, who, if you can name the Cavs starting five, I will give you all the money that I have in my bank account. And I don't have much, but I'll give it to you if you can name the starting five off top right now. Because that was bad. And if you can name their head coach, because they don't even have a real head coach either. But that was bad. But like I said, you got to consider all the things that go into this. Just this rock bottom feeling right now that all Laker fans are having right now. So that was easily the worst loss of the season so far. Easily the worst loss. Still no LeBron. Haven't had LeBron for a couple weeks. Also no Rondo. But mainly, obviously, LeBron is the big loss. And in his absence, just not getting any good production at all from the guys that we need to step up. Ingram is, whenever LeBron's out, obviously someone's got to put up the points. Other than Kuzma who's been playing fucking great. Please, Lakers have to keep Kuzma. Kuzma has been great. But other than that ball has to be scored. And yes, Ingram is scoring points. And you look at his box scores, they're great. But they just feel like they're just like empty stats, And like when you watch the game, it's just, yeah, he's scoring, but they just don't feel like he's not like really affecting the game. Like when Kuzma's like he's affecting the game, but when Ingram's doing it, I don't know, but it's just not good production from Ingram. Really disappointed in how Hart's been playing. Really, you needed him to step up. Lonzo, to some degree, yes, not getting the production that we want from him. Now, to defend Lonzo, I am a Lonzo apologist, and it is well known amongst, I've been defending him on the pod, I defend him on Twitter, I defend him everywhere, I defend him in personnel places. Yes, he hasn't. His box scores aren't that great, but like I said, if you have to watch him play to get a full feel of how his game. Yes, his jumper is not the greatest. Yes, his free throws are fucking atrocious. But he's, for the most part, he makes the right play. He chooses to make the right play, whether that's getting to the rim. I wish he got to the rim more often. That's why I said usually he makes the right play. I wish he attacked the rim more often, but he usually makes the right pass, whether it's for the assist or the hockey assist, the pass that sets up the right play kind of thing. And a lot of the time they're just not finishing because these guys aren't scoring. Look at that, we're scoring, putting up 95 to the Cavs. That's it. Like, come on. You guys are not scoring. If you watch that game, Lonzo had, I don't think he had like 9, 10, whatever, how many assists Lonzo had. Where was it? Let me see. What was it? He had 8 assists. Off top of my head, I can think of 4 right now that 4 more assists he could have had that were just blown easy shots. That kind of stuff. And, so he definitely does need to fix a lot of things, but I think Lonzo is playing very well. His defense is unprecedented. We cannot replace that either. But he does need to work on his shooting, both from the field and at the free throw line, mainly at the free throw line. Like, you cannot be a point guard and shoot free throws that poorly. Like, it just cannot happen. So he needs to get in the gym, work on those. And then also from the other guys. We brought in these guys, these older guys, to help the young guys out, but McGee hasn't been playing well. Lance hasn't been playing well, like, at all. And ever since KCP has been in and out of the starting lineup, he's just been a freaking ghost and just completely disappeared. And so, like I said, it's just, just not getting this production from the guys we need to step up, and this is the perfect opportunity for them to step up and for them to show what they're made of without LeBron, and put a little fear in these other teams. Like, all right, shit, we really do gotta pay attention to the Lakers going into the playoffs, because if the season ended right now, they're the 8th seed, they're making the playoffs, and they'd have to play the Nuggets, which would be a favorable matchup, in my opinion, even though they did lose to them not too long ago. It would be a favorable matchup, but like I said, going forward, they just gotta step up, man. Gotta step up. And the worst part is they're just not even looking like halfway competitive in some of these games. Like, these final scores don't reflect how bad these games were when you watch them. Like, obviously the glaring one of the Cavs was bad. The Knicks game last week was just fucking horrible. Knicks game was horrible. The horrible loss to the Timberwolves on the road. Same thing, the really bad loss to the Thunder. And it's just bad. They just look really, really bad, like, when they lose. Now, to their defense, when they've won, they looked pretty good. And that's obvious, like, duh, of course they look good when they win. That Mavs win on the road, that's a good win for them. Going into Dallas, coming off of like I said, another, like, a bad loss the night before to the Timberwolves. That was a good win for the Lakers. Then they went back home, had another good win against the Pistons. Just a good, solid win, But other than that, it's just too inconsistent. Like I said, they're 3-7 in the last 10, and just not playing good, inspired basketball. And they just look like deflated, and they look like they don't give a shit out there. And I'm sure they do, pretty sure they do. But they just look bad and just all over the place. And they're just like, their body language shows it, like when, like, they miss a shot and they gotta get back on defense, like, oh fuck, like that kind of thing. It looks like that. And I don't know if it would be like the if it's cynicism or whatever of me to say it like this, but the trade deadline is coming up in about, literally, I think, like a month from now, and them not playing well, these other guys not playing well, by other guys I mean anyone other than LeBron, it's hurting their trade value, because anybody can play well with LeBron, as we've seen. He took those horrible, shitty Cavs teams to the finals, like, however many years in a row. And if, the Lakers wanted to make some trades and try to get some other players and stuff like that, and use these young guys or whatever guys they have as trade pieces, when they go to those teams, it's pretty obvious, but when they go to those teams, they're not going to have LeBron. And these games without LeBron, it was the perfect opportunity for them to show how they can play, or show other teams, or let other teams see how they can play without LeBron. And they just have not played well at all. And it's really, really, really hurting their trade value. Like, KCP, I would have said, like, please, let's trade. I'm pretty sure the Lakers wanted to trade KCP anyway, but he's been playing so badly that his play on the court and his contract that he has, just completely, almost completely untradeable at this point. And that's just him. That's just KCP. And like I said, these other young guys who look, promising, just have not played the way that they needed to. And I'm sure I'm sure these other GMs see it, and other front offices see it. So definitely hurting their trade value. With all that being said, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button yet. Big emphasis on the yet. So let's all just cool it on the blowing it up stuff right now. It's still a very young team for the most part. They're rolling with this young core right now as the starting. They've put Hart in the starting lineup, and they're going with a starting lineup of Zoe, Josh Hart, Ingram, Kuzma, and some combo of JaVale McGee or Tyson Chandler, or even Zubac sometimes too. They're going Zubac, another young guy, and they're still very young for the most part, and they're still trying to learn and figure out how to win. And like I said, anybody can win with LeBron, as we've seen, and these young guys are just trying to learn how to win. They're trying to figure it out. They're gonna take some lumps. It's just like anything that you do. Starting out, you're gonna take lumps. It's gonna be hard, but you gotta figure it out. You learn from your mistakes, and you just gotta get better. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progression, and it's gotta get better. Like I said, Kuzma's playing great, but everyone else has to step up. So there's that. We gotta stop with the let's fire Luke stuff. Just the main thing, and I'm gonna get to it also to pair this firing the Luke thing. Luke he's the right guy to manage these guys right now. You can tell that they like him. He's the right guy to manage these egos, manage these players, and keep the morale high, and as high as it can be. He challenged Zoe, he challenged Ingram, he challenged Hard, he challenged all the Kuzma, challenged all the young guys. They stepped up in that right after that Timberwolves loss. He challenged them. They stepped up and got the win at the Mavericks. Got the win at against the Pistons. So he can do it. But so let's stop with the fire Luke, and like I said, pairing that with let's trade everybody for Anthony Davis. Like obviously that's not really in the books right now because like I said, look how the team's been playing. Do you think the Pelicans are going to want to get rid of Anthony Davis for what? For Ingram, and they'd have to literally get rid of everybody. So let's not trade everybody just yet or anything like that. And because it all comes back to like what I always say: if you're gonna get rid of people, if you're gonna fire a coach, if you're gonna trade these players, make sure that you're gonna get back something equal or better. And even equal is a loss, because then if you're losing, you're still gonna keep losing. And if you're going to fire Luke, who out there is available that would help this team? Don't say Mark Jackson, because other teams haven't called him for an obvious reason, because they don't want him, So like I said, who is out there that's going to make this better? I don't know. And if you trade anybody, like I said, they've played themselves into hurting their trade value so much that what players could they honestly get back that are better than this? That now not only are they about on the same level, but they'd have to learn all the plays, learn all the sets, learn all the tendencies, learn all the chemistry. You're messing up the team chemistry, all that stuff. Not going into it. So let's just cool our jets on all this blowing it up stuff right now. And let's see if this very young team can pull themselves out of this funk. This is a huge learning lesson. This is a huge learning opportunity for them right now. Like I said, let's see if they can pull themselves out of this funk on their own, not, without blowing it up or anything like that. And let's just see if they can do it. Give them some time. Like I said, the trade deadline's a month away. Don't do it now. Let's see if they can do it. There's a nice little stretch for them to prove it. They got the Bulls tomorrow, on the road for a couple games against the Thunder and the Rockets, two Western Conference contenders. Then they got a nice little home stretch for the rest of the month. And then, like I said, let's just see if they can do it. All right. So let's cool it on that. Let's cool it on all this trade talk, blow it up shit, all that stuff for now. And give them time to prove themselves. That's what I'm looking forward to. So there's that. That was the bad news with the Lakers. A little bit better news with the Clippers, as they are still playing good basketball. Definitely not as hot as they were, like a month or two ago. But, still playing good basketball. Despite a couple tough losses to the Pistons in Blake's homecoming and to the Nuggets before that, still playing well. Still fifth in the West. They're and then even the 3 to 5 area is like they're like all within a game of each other kind of thing, and they're still playing well. And not a whole lot more to touch on with them, but I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again to repeat it for you guys who don't remember. these Clippers, it seems like everybody has completely bought into their roles and just doing their best job at it. You know, everybody's just, like I said, they're completely bought in. There's no one's being like a little too selfish. Like they know who they are, and they're just doing it. You know what I mean? Lou Williams, just get buckets. That's it. That's all they need is buckets from Lou Williams. He's going out there and doing it. Tobias Harris, you know, good shooter, defense, locking him up. Patrick Beverly, the antagonizer, I guess is the way to put it. The antagonizer, just getting under your skin, you know, forcing those stupid technicals, playing good defense, playing hard. That's what he's doing. Montrezl Harrell, energy guy, big energy guy. Just flying through, grabbing rebounds, playing hard defense, protecting the paint on both sides. You know what I mean? The Polish hammer, Marcin Gortat, just pick and rolls, set hard screens, be that enforcer that you need. Like I said, and then, you know, good production from these young guys. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, playing just way better than I think anybody could have expected. I know it's been beaten to death, but just clearly the steal of the draft. He's been playing well, you know, and just like I said, these guys are just completely 100% all in on what they want to do, and if they want to continue to be successful, they just have to completely stick to the plan. Just stick to the plan. That's it. Just keep doing what they've been doing. Don't have to change anything. Don't have to do anything fancy. Just keep doing what they're doing. Trust the process, I guess, in a way. And they'll, like I said, they'll be able, if the season ended today, they're in the playoffs, and they got a pretty favorable matchup. I think they'd be playing, who is it? It was the standings. They'd be playing the Blazers. So that's pretty good, pretty close, and that's a pretty good matchup for them. So, like I said, they'll be fine. I don't know. I mentioned it before in one of the last episodes before I took my little break. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of love or buzz for it, but Doc definitely needs to be at least recognized for a potential Coach of the Year candidate. All things considered, with, you know, Lob City was finally over. He's had so much scrutiny and criticism about his coaching style and all this stuff like that during the last, you know, I don't know, 5-6 years, you know, never got out of the second round, blew the games, all this stuff, this and that, and yeah, just he, you know, I know he's an easy guy to hate on, but what he's doing with these Clippers is completely and almost just if you saw this coming, or if you said that you saw this coming at the beginning of the year, you're a goddamn liar. Put it that way. So, doing a great job with them. Great job with the Clippers. And like I said, they just got to stick to the plan. That's it. You know, just got to stick to the plan. And, you know, just the biggest question that I have for them going forward is, do they try and add to their team by going for some, air quotes here, big name for the trade deadline, and potentially risk ruining the chemistry they have to try and, you know, get, you know, them, you know what I mean? These teams try to get a big name and add to them, and they'll think by adding them, they'll help the team out. Or do they just roll with what they've got for the rest of the season? I personally think that they should just roll with what they've got. But who knows? Who knows? I think Jerry West is smart enough to make the right decision on this one. The only thing is, I don't know if Ballmer's going to want to try to make a splash or something. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see there. Like I said, there's a lot of basketball left to be played for the Lakers to get back on track, for the Clippers to keep playing well. So like I said, if you're a little anxious or whatever about these teams, still a lot of basketball. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. Now, if they're still playing like this at the All-Star break, after the All-Star game, then we're going to really, you know, maybe have to pull out the pitchforks and stuff like that. So that's going to do it for me today. Not a lot of wrestling stuff yet. You know, I know All In or All Elite got announced, so there's that. So the hype of that finally dying down, and we can finally see who else they sign and stuff like that. There's that. And then WWE, not a whole lot of stuff yet. Just names announced for the Royal Rumble, but the Rumble's still a couple weeks away. So once the Rumble happens, that's when the we're officially on the road to WrestleMania. So, have to see. I guess the most interesting thing about the Royal Rumble is who's going to be the big surprise entrant this year. A lot of talk that it might be Kenny Omega, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. And let's see what else. Baseball, Dodgers making some moves here and there. I guess I'll just touch on that real quick. Brought in Joe Kelly over the winter break. Yasmani Grandal is gone. Later, dog. He went to the Brewers. We brought back Russell Martin, beloved Russell Martin. Might as well, let's just bring back James Loney. You know what I mean? Why don't we just bring Andre Ethier out of retirement? Tell the Reds, hey, sorry, can we actually get Matt Kemp back? Let's just do that. Why don't we just do that while we're at it? So there's that. And like I said, not much else. Just I guess pitchers and catchers are reporting sooner than we think. And that's gonna do it for me today. So, you know how this goes. Like always, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Not gonna be any music on this one yet. Like I said, still working out the kinks as far as how I can keep adding music to this without getting my shit taken down. So I'm still figuring it out. So bear with me. But if you like what you heard, like always, make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm there. SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. I'm on Spotify now. That's mainly where I do all my promo stuff through Spotify. Tune in. YouTube too. Subscribe for the YouTube channel for much more content coming down the chute. And follow along on the socials. Brown Mamba Radio. Brown Mamba. My personal stuff, JXCKSXNNN, that's 3 N's, but mainly follow on the Brown Mamba Radio IG. That's where I'm doing most of my cool stuff like that. So follow there. And normally I would say that everything is on brownmama.us, but it's getting a little overhaul, a little under construction. So hold off on that. And but like I said, look for that in the future. Like I said, it's getting a little facelift for the new year. Getting a little work done. We're in LA, by the way, so getting a little work done. But also, so that's gonna be it for me today. And also, really quickly before I get out of here, just so that they all know, showing big love to all the LA Unified School District teachers who are about to go on strike. We love you. We stand with you. And our teachers in LAUSD, and not just LAUSD, but all teachers everywhere, but mainly here in the LA Unified School District, they do so much more than just teaching these kids. They work as de facto babysitters. Sometimes the parents don't have anywhere to they don't want to pay for daycare or anything like that for their kids. So school is essentially the de facto daycare. Watching the kids, educating them, learning, teaching them, making them, helping them grow into young adults, helping them grow and stuff like that. And they just do so much. And their LAUSD teachers are worked so hard, and their classrooms are so full. And they it's so sad when every year they have to ask their students to, hey, can you guys at least bring one thing? They have to make those checklists, of things that they tell the students to bring before class, or to start the class, and it's just basic office supplies that the school district isn't supplying for them. And I know that the whole thing is they're saying they don't have money. We don't have money. We don't have money. They've been saying that for so long now, and it's just the shit's piling up. Classrooms are overcrowded. They don't have the right school supplies. They don't have the correct kind of textbooks. They don't have the updated textbooks. They don't have the updated supplies and things they need to help give these kids the best chance to succeed while they're in school. And it's a pretty quick fix, and we all know what that needs to be. We all know where that money can come from. It's just a matter of doing it. And like I said, the only way to do it is they got to press them. They got to press the people who make these decisions, and that's what they're doing. So like I said, we stand with you, LAUSD teachers. We love you. Thank you for everything that you do, and we need to get them some help. So let's all do what we can to give them the help that they deserve. So just wanted to throw that out there before I get out of here. So again, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that bullshit that you guys do. You know what I mean? All the hey YouTuber shit. Do all that. And that's gonna do it for me today. I've been waiting a while to say this again. Don't just have a good week, everybody. Make it a good week. Stay dry out there, LA. And please drive carefully and all that good stuff. But stay dry. And drink more water. Health is wealth. New year, new me. Stick to those New Year's resolutions, everybody, no matter what they are. But drink more water. Health is wealth. And please, 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 let's be kind to each other, because it's easy to be nice. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.